So after making my Super Scorpion here, which is my Scorpion that has an M4A1 gearbox in there, stretch spring metal barrel, hitting two highs of 280, consistently 250 plus FPS. I was messing around. I thought, oh, I should try to make a drum mag adapter for it, and I found something I could print online from Thingiverse, but it was designed for airsoft, of course. And when it comes to magazine adapters for airsoft, the tubes are much smaller inside, or the way that they're printed, so they won't really be compatible at all. Didn't think about that till I printed it. However, once I did that, I thought of some other ideas. So I incorporated one piece of that, really just kind of this collar piece, I guess I would call it right here. And otherwise, I had to go ahead and be willing to cut one of my magazines, right? So the nice thing about Olin is they give you two magazines with every Scorpion. So I thought, all right, I just got this nice black and gray one. It's handy. Let's just go ahead and go through the trouble of cutting one of those and just deal with it. Now, I don't take that lightly. I don't like to try to, I don't purposely want to ruin any of these, so I don't try to do something unless I think it's going to work. And in this case, luckily it did. So what I did is I kind of cut that. I could have cut it shorter, but I was worried about cutting too short because, right, it's a lot harder to try to put it back together than it is to cut again. But I definitely could probably cut as high as where we see the paint line. So that would have still worked out fine. But I wanted to make sure I had plenty of clearance. So really, I just cut this, right? I had to cut the feed tube, connected the two feed tubes so that they're together, right? And then used like just a slightly larger tube kind of on the outside to keep that channel nice and tight together. And then, of course, some glue. And then this kind of collar piece, which was part of that airsoft adapter, mag adapter, I just used to basically kind of merge everything together, make sure it stays together right. So this one is kind of permanent. A lot of the adapters on there are made so that like you could click the M4 mag off and change your M4 mags. In this case, the whole mag's going to come off, but that's the solution that works with the gel blaster. And I went with one of these M4 Wasp style drum mags because they load down here, right? And I knew that the way these were going in and the way I was building it, that any of the ones with loading doors up here would be blocked. So instead, use this kind so that we can always load it and unload it right there. I mean, in theory, I guess we could even try to load it up here, but I don't know that. No, that would not work. They wouldn't make it down there. So, so this is how I left it. Of course, I connected the wires inside. So the wires from these terminals go down and connect with the motor inside here. And I was pleasantly surprised how everything works out. So it clicks in here like this. So all I meant by like, I could have shortened this, enough probably to down to here. And so that this just sits kind of almost flush with that. But I was a little worried that might get in the way. So made it a little longer. And again, it's my first attempt. So, but happy to say that it works fine. You can hear that running. That's priming it. I was shooting. It wasn't, and again, I've only done one real trial with it briefly here right before this video. And it was shooting not 100% consistently, but pretty consistently. I think it just needs, again, for me to use it a little bit. And there may be some little nuances or tips and tricks I'll figure out to make sure that it stays that feeding tube stays full. My only guess is that maybe it's a little harder for the motor to push the balls all the way. It's got an extra amount of feed tube like this long. That's possibly adding to it. So I will try it on my Super Scorpion, which uses, 11.1 volt batteries, and that maybe will help that run even better. So I'll try it on there. I've only tried it so far on the standard Scorpion, and it did work. But anyway, the only downside I've ever found to these Scorpions, of course, was, well, first, I'd like to get more power, which I accomplished that here. But this is still a great blaster for 200 FPS, couple mags, 50, 60 bucks, great blaster. Just the mags are small. So now there is a drum mag option that I figured out how to put together, and I thought you guys would think that was pretty cool. Comments, questions, let me know what you think about it. Of course, like, subscribe, share my channel with your friends, and please participate in the monthly giveaways. Thanks for the support.